Hi everybody, I'm John Beilfuss, Executive Chef of Lula's Louisiana Cookhouse here in gorgeous Owasso, Michigan. Still hanging in for this damn demic that we're going through. But guess what? Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and my Valentine, who coincidentally and by the grace of God is my wife of 27 years, asked me to make a very special dish for her for Valentine's Day. And so today I'm going to walk you through all the steps of how I make this wonderful pasta. First, we're going to make garlic confit, which is something I always have in the house. Then we're going to make homemade pasta, fettuccine. Awesome. And then I'm going to show you how to make the tomato sauce, simple tomato sauce that goes with it for a really delightful Valentine's Day dinner. So let's get started. I want to start here today with just showing you how to make something I make all the time. I've taken about 4 full heads of garlic and broken off all the cloves. I've covered them with olive oil. We're going to put a few bay leaves in here. And I'm going to put this in a 325 degree oven for about an hour. It's garlic confit. It mellows out the garlic and it'll last for 6 months in your refrigerator. And as I said, I'm just going to pop this in the oven for about an hour at 325 degrees. So now let me show you how I make my homemade pasta. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 eggs plus 5 egg yolks, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of olive oil. So now I've put this all together, just took those 4 ingredients, put them in the bowl of a KitchenAid mixer with a dough hook, and we're going to turn it on and let it just start coming together. And as that comes together, every once in a while I'm going to turn off the mixer. Let's just pull down those sides so that it all will blend in together. It's been about 1.5 minutes, probably coming up on 2 minutes, and you see it starting to come together as a dough. And once you see it come together like this, you want to knead it for 4 minutes with an electric mixer or 10 minutes by hand. I'd use a mixer. So this has been kneading now for 4 minutes. I'm going to turn off the mixer. We're going to take this dough and wrap it and let it sit at room temperature for about an hour. You'll see what this dough looks like. It's nice and smooth. You give it a little pinch, that'll pop right back out. So while my dough is resting, let me show you how I make my tomato sauce. So I make lots of different tomato sauces. This one for this dish, I try to keep as simple as possible. It's pureed at the end. So I've started with a rough chopped sofrito of about 1 cup of cup of chopped onion, 1/2 cup each of chopped celery and chopped carrot. If you've got the leaves on your celery, make sure you use those. I've got 3/4 of a teaspoon of fennel seeds, 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flake, and a tablespoon of minced garlic. This is 3 28-ounce cans of San Marzano Italian plum tomatoes. Now I'm starting this with just a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to throw in our sofrito, and we're just going to cook this for about 5 minutes until it's just softened. I don't want any brown on it. So that's been about 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and add our garlic and our red pepper and our fennel. We'll stir that around for let it cook for about another minute. And after that minute, we're going to add all of our tomatoes. Now what I do is I just come in with a spoon and just break up these tomatoes. Don't have to make them super small, but let's at least break each one of them in half. Well, now that we've broken up most of those tomatoes, I'm going to let it simmer on low for a ½ hour. Let's check the garlic confit. That's looking just about perfect. So there, I'm letting it cool down on the counter now. And when I'm done using it today, I'll put it in the refrigerator. It'll keep up to 6 months as long as it's got oil on top of the garlic. So our sauce has been simmering now for about 30 minutes. It's time to puree. I love my little immersion blender. I picked it up at Costco a couple years ago for like $29. But if you don't have one, just puree this in a blender. So now that we've got that all pureed, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of salt. And now I'm going to add a secret ingredient that I didn't put in the ingredients up front because I wanted it only for people that watched the video this far. About a tablespoon of honey. You know, if you've got fresh garden tomatoes in August here in Michigan, they're wonderfully sweet. Just about every other tomato sauce, I'll add just a little honey to sweeten it up. And now I'm just going to turn that off and save it for service. So now let's roll out the pasta. Today I'm going to use my fettuccine cutter and my roller, both from KitchenAid. These are really excellent attachments if you've got a KitchenAid stand mixer. And you can buy these either as just the roller or a roller in a 3-pack with a fettuccine cutter and a spaghetti cutter. Strongly recommend them. These are really great. So let's roll out our pasta. So this batch of pasta will easily make 4 dinner-size bowls of pasta. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to just cut it into 4 pieces. We'll take these away, cover them so they don't dry out while we work this piece. And we're going to take this piece and form it into this kind of a triangle piece. And let me show you how we put it through the roller. Now these rollers have 8 settings on them. You want to start on the number 1 setting, which is the widest. And we're just going to feed our piece of pasta. You have to have a lot of flour on your dough here, or it'll stick going through. And especially at the beginning stages here, we want to make sure that we just keep putting more flour on it to make sure it doesn't stick on these rollers. We're going to fold it over once and put it back through. Now we're going to go to the next setting, which is 2, and we're going to take each one of these settings, we're going to go through with the pasta dough twice. So here's number 2. Again, make sure we've got a lot of flour on our dough here. Here's the second time through number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5. And for fettuccine, I take it to number 6. Also works well for me with ravioli and other things, but number 6 will have the thickness of this pasta, make a real nice fettuccine. And now we're just going to set this down on our lightly floured surface. And now you want to cut this however long you want the pasta. I usually cut one of these strips into about 3 pieces. So now what I've done is I've changed the roller out and put on my fettuccine cutter, and we're just going to drop these pieces straight through the fettuccine cutter and into a little pile of flour so that they don't stick together. Toss them around in that flour so that they don't stick. And that'll make a beautiful serving of pasta. Okay, here we go. So now I've brought a pot of salted water to a boil. Go ahead and throw in our pasta. Now remember, fresh pasta doesn't take nearly as long as dried pasta. When this floats to the surface, I'm going to let it cook for about 1 minute after it floats. And then you see off to the right here, I've got a pan of about a cup of our tomato sauce. And we're going to go right into the sauce with it. As you can see, it's floated up to the surface. I'm going to give it 60 seconds. I'm going to scoop it out with my spider. Straight into the sauce. And all I'm doing here is making sure it's nicely coated in that sauce. And I'm going to go ahead and plate it. Once I've got it plated, I'm just going to add a little bit of this garlic confit, a little drizzle of that oil. The oil is wonderfully infused with that garlic. And to just break up some fresh basil. And we're going to top it with a little Parmigiano Reggiano. And there you go. Hey, thanks again for watching another exciting episode of Scratch Cook with John. I sure appreciate you coming in. This was a great Valentine's Day dinner. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you again soon with recipes from all around the world.